Hello everyone, welcome to Elma. In the previous few classes we had been doing maths on class 10 and 9, CBSE and Icse. We had done rational irrational numbers, and last we did factorization. Today we are coming with a new subject, which is computer applications, and more specifically in that we will be doing Java programming, which is a difficult portion in computer application, but it is the most scoring portion of that. Now the paper of computer is divided into 40 marks of theory and 60 marks of programming, therefore it is the most scoring also. And the theory will have question answers as well as outputs are basically segments of programming which will be eventually clear to everyone as we go further deep into the programmings. Now class 9 programming will be continued further in class 10, therefore it should be a subject on which one focuses. Therefore we shall begin now. Now we will be doing programming mainly in these classes. Today we will be doing what are classes, access specifiers, scanner class, and note a few types of functions in programming. Now for classes, there are three types of classes: public, private and protected. Now public classes can be written normally as just class. The syntax is class, in which you will write the name. These two will not be here. This is given in a syntax because these two will not be there, and in which you will write the name of the class or any specific thing given in them. Therefore, and one thing, there are three things in Java programming you need to be very careful about: syntax and logic. Now the syntax is basically the statements. Java programming is basically a type of language, and it should be correct in grammatical sense. And for example, there should be semicolons and commas where necessary, otherwise it would be wrong, and marks will be deducted. And another thing is that cases should be taken care of. I mean, uppercase and lowercase, capital and small letters are very Java is a case sensitive language in which the uppercase and lowercase make a huge difference. So therefore we will continue with this. Now class and name together is generally taken as public class. For different types of programming we take private classes, in which private needs to be mentioned in the class along with the class name. And there is protected classes. These details will be further explained in the 9 theory and the 10 theory. And now we will go to the access specifier part. In the access specifier part, they are basically, it is a statement written which is static void main parenthesis. Now these two brackets together are known as parenthesis, and this is static void main. This is the access specifier in this. It has an access specifier, and these are also of three types: public, protected and private. In this you need to mention that you are talking about public usually, and in some programs there are written within this string args and third bracket open close, and there are some for example int a b c. They are called method calls. For now we will not be discussing anything about them. We will be just I am telling you about the building blocks of the Java programming. Now we will continue. Here C is in small case, S is in small case, V is in small case, and M is in small case. Now we shall continue. There is one more thing in Java programming. For inputting anything inside a program we use some classes which are by importing them into the class we are working on. They are of basically two types: buffered reader and scanner. Now scanner is the currently the a very lucid way in which we can do Java programming. Some schools still carry on with buffered reader, but they accept the scanner programming, and the scanner programming is also accepted by the boards. Now we will be doing on scanner programming because it is the easiest, and you need to be fast during the examination because it is an 100 marks paper, and programming takes time, as well as it is of the same time as the other papers, means 2 hours. Now there are two types: import java dot io dot start and import java dot util dot start. Now this IO is for buffered reader and this util is for scanner class. Now after every statement we put a semicolon, but these semicolons are not put in statements such as class and access specifier statements, but they are kept in most of the statement. You will understand this eventually on doing more practice. Now import is for bringing that class package, means scanner or buffered reader, into the class we are working on. Java is, you know what is Java is. UTIL and IO is for buffered reader and scanner specifically, and asterisk or star is given for all classes, all types of classes of the scanner or buffered reader class should be important in the class we are using. Now this will be used in cases where we have to input some values from the user into the program for the control to take charge of it. Now there is one thing to understand programming very easily: the control. The control will navigate you through the program, and you need to look like the imagine in the way of the control. For example, it will first it follows like a cursor one by one: import, then java, then util.start, and it will execute all the statements one by one. And another thing in Java programming is the brackets, which you need to take care of. The bracket should, or once open, must be closed somewhere in the program, and it should be closed in the right place, otherwise the statements outside the bracket might get wrong. And another thing is one more statement there is in Java programming: system dot out dot println. Now in this is the statement of language. This is basically a language. You do not need to think much of what is system, what is out, why is it used here. You do not need to know that as now, and you will further get to understand normally eventually, but you need not understand what it is. But only you need to think that this is just a statement. Whether I know its meaning or not, it is used to for entering any statement to the display any statement to the user. For example, within this inverted commas, if you add some things like some statement, it would be and after closing it you need to put a semicolon here. After closing it, when the control will pass through it, by reading these three words, it will understand that it has to display something written inside. Therefore, after this inverted comma, till this inverted comma, whatever is written inside it will be printed, except there are few things. For example, there are already inverted comma in here. Now you won't be able to directly just put inverted commas and other punctuations as it will be not printed. As the if you do it like this, the last this and this inverted comma will be taken, and this will be neglected. Thus you won't get any punctuation type of things inside. For that we have escape sequences, which are \t, \v, \n, backslash inverted comma, backslash single quotes. Now there are two types: system.out.print ln. ln means new line, and system.out.print only, which means the control will not go to the new line. And these are the five basic escape sequences you need in the programmings. \t is for horizontal tab, means if if you use \t, for example, this is something written, and after that it will give some space, and then something else will be written over here. This space is used for \t, and \v similarly, \v will be vertical tab. For example, something is written here, it will give some space in the downward direction, and it will write the rest. \n is for new line, like ln, it is used here. Inverted comma backslash is used for putting inverted comma in a statement. Backslash single quotes is for putting single quotes in a statement, etc. And then on further going on, we will get more and more types of escape sequences, but these are the most basic ones. Now coming back to this, we need to import some things on. Basically, there are data types, primitive data types. We work on them in class 9 basically. In class 10 we will get further more types of data types like arrays and other things, but in class 9 we get int, long, float, double, string and char. Int is for integer, long is for long itself, and short is for short, float is for float, double is for double, and char is for character, string is for a statement. Now int, short and long, they are all for integers without any decimals, and float and double are for integers with decimal. And then comes character, char, which is for characters, any single character, special characters such as at the rate and any other thing, small a, capital A, anything. And string is for keeping a statement or a word. Now we need to, there's some statement like system.out.println to accept that values from the user. They are, for int it is variable s is equal to sc dot next I and the parenthesis. Here the I will be in capital of the int. For example, integer is given in int, I capital over here, and parenthesis is there, and semicolon should be there. This is a variable. I will explain this coming here, and it will be next. So this is to accept any integer value. Similarly, s is equal to sc dot next long parenthesis. Now this is for accepting any long type of variable. Now this will continue for almost all the types. Short will contain short in here, then float will contain float in here, double will contain double in here, and but in character there comes a new statement. S is equal to sc dot next parenthesis dot char at 0. And there is one more type which is string. Yeah, there is string type in which there are two types. S is equal to sc dot next parenthesis, just that. Only this is for only a word. Only a word can be entered in this one, and one is for sc dot next line parenthesis. This is for a whole statement, and it suggests line. This is for one whole line. Now these are the basics of the inputting variables, and now we shall continue. I was going to explain what SC was here. Now coming to that, after importing the class into the class we are using, we will write a statement scanner SC is equal to new scanner within bracket system dot in. Now this should be in one line. This should be in one line. I had lack of space, therefore I wrote it in the next line. It will have a semicolon over here to end the statement. Now SC, like class declaration which you will learn in the theory, scanner is the class, SC is an object of that class, new allocates the memory, means it creates a space for that class object in the class. For example, it creates a space in hard disk. Now scanner is the class itself, and system.in is the class is the syntax. Now this is a whole syntax, just like system.out.println. You need to memorize it. You will again you will eventually by practice and practice get to know it. Now this SC was only written over here. It means an object will acquire that value from the user and give it to the controller. Now coming to the programs. While doing some programs, I will explain you the format and method of writing one by one. Now they will be, for example, there is a question I am reading now. Write a program in Java to input two numbers, display the numbers, and then exchange the numbers of the two variables by a third variable. Now suppose for Java programming, some student just start it and they think like maths they can by starting and tabulation of data, simply they will get to understand what will be coming next. In this you need to have a very clear mind from the beginning, and then only you can understand the logic of the program. This is a very simple sum. This might most probably never come in the exams. This is just for learning, and there is 6 out of 4 out of 6 we need to choose 4 options. Therefore the ones you understand at one shot are the ones you need to go for. Now for this question, we first we need to input. There is given input two numbers, therefore we need to bring scanner or buffer reader class. I am bringing scanner class. Import java dot util dot start semicolon. Now in that scanner SC, you can, instead of SC, if you don't like SC, you can use any other two alphabets like IN, anything, OB. Now you need to write class. You don't need to specify public, private or protected, just class would be enough. Then the class name, you use a class name like I'm using sample over here. Any class name is possible. Just remember that the class name should not have any special character. There are some rules for giving class name. You will understand those in the theory part. And now you will get to know that means theory should be together with it, but I will explain most of the theory by the programming itself. Theory is there for programming. That's why theory has 20 marks, output 20 marks, and programming 40 marks. 60 marks. I mean, programming 60 marks. Now, after class, we need to give a bracket. Second bracket, I mean the curly bracket. Then public static void main parenthesis. Now, yes, this is the access specifier statement. You need to mention public here, it would be better. You can also write just void main parenthesis, but I would prefer this because if you write only void main parenthesis in computer, it might get complicated. And you need to create another object, and that would be messed up for a beginner. Now we continue. After this statement, you need to give another second bracket. Now we come to the main part. Now because we have taken scanner class, we will add scanner sc is equal to new scanner within bracket system dot in. It should be in one line, lack of space over here, and now it will have a semicolon here to end the statement. And basically in programming, semicolon is just like a full language. Now the next statement, we need to declare some variables. It has told us to take two variables and exchange it with a third variable. That means minimum we need three variables. Now we take it as int, long or short. Short is for small integers, long is for very large integers, and integers for medium sized integers. We usually take int. Now int a comma b comma c. You may take any name. Means basically alphabet only, and ABC is the name. And you may even take large like interest, salary, on full statement, full word like names can also be taken. Now there should be a semicolon after that, and two variables must be separated by a comma. If there is int, it will ensure that all these three variables are of int type. If there is long, it will ensure that all these variables are of long type. One more thing, in this we need to exchange it with a third variable. Suppose c is the third variable over here, therefore it will not be inputted by the user. Therefore we need to give a value to c for calculation in the program. Now by the logic of the program, we see that a and b suppose has 1 and 2 in them respectively. Now a's value will be given to c. C has 1 in it. Now a's will get the value from b. Therefore a is equal to b. We will get a is equal to 2. Now the a's value will be vanished from a itself, but it will be stored in c. And b will get the value of a from c. Therefore b is equal to c. We will get b is equal to 1. First we had a comma b is equal to 1 comma 2 respectively. Now we have a comma b is equal to 2 comma 1 respectively. Means they are interchanged. Now we continue. Now this is a variable. Now we need to input a and b from the user. Int a is equal to, once you give int over here, you need not put any integer value over here. But if you had not given this variable in here, you need to specify what type of data type it is. Now a is equal to sc dot next int parenthesis semicolon. The user would put it here. Then b 1. For not ensuring any disk, we write system dot out dot print ln. Now we will write the statement enter values, and this is a semicolon over here. Now we have given enter values here. Now the control will print it. Now the user will understand that I have to enter value. You need to think from the mind of the control as well as the user. Now we continue. A is equal to sc dot next int parenthesis semicolon, then b is equal to sc dot next int parenthesis. A and B's value are given by the user. Now we continue with it. A is equal to C. I will explain all this. B is equal to A is equal to B. B is equal to C. Now is equal to is not like the is equal to we keep in mathematics. Now in computer programming, is equal to assigns the value of something to something. It may be a variable to a variable, an integer to an integer to a variable. Yes. Here it is variable to a variable. It assigns the value of A to C here. It will be C is equal to A. It assigns the variable of A to C here. Yes. Then it assigns the variable of B to A here. Therefore, the value of A has gone from A, but it is still there in C. Now it assigns the value of C that is also equal to the value of A to B here. Hence the values are exchanged here. Now we go further. It is, yes, that's the end. Now I will be taking this here. You should continue it downward. I am taking here system dot out dot print ln we write A here. Now this will be copied. We write B here. You should not do it like this, and in exam you should write the full statement. For practice you may write SOP ln like system.out.println for fast practice, means not wasting time. In exam that would make lose of tremendous mark. Now and in this, for being in exam, you should write like the value of A with an inverted bracket, inverted commas is equal to A, for making the display look good. But this will also give you marks. This will also give you marks. Now there should be inverted commas here. Now we open two brackets here. Therefore, two brackets should be closed here. Now this was the end of this program. Now we go to the next program. These you need to write a fresh program, because I am using a whiteboard. I have the advantage of rubbing some portions and not the other. Now I rub. The question is, write a program in Java to input name, basic salary. You did not understand what basic salary is, just take it as base of a salary, means the monthly salary of an employee. Take the name and basic salary of an employee and display the gross salary and net salary when DA is equal to 30% of basic, HRA is equal to 12.5% of basic, PF is equal to 10% of basic, gross is equal to basic plus DA plus HRA, and net is equal to gross minus PF. Now it might seem very complicated, what is DA, what is HRA, what is PF, but a very simple solution is that you need not understand what those are. They are just variables. You need not care, because they have given you the formula gross value is equal to basic plus HRA plus DA. Just calculate HRA and DA. Think that they are just X, Y, Z. You need not know what they are. That's why programming is very easy. You need not understand anything, but still you can get full marks. Now I will continue from yes. We're up from here. Now that's why I took the name sample here. You might give a more appropriate name here. We need to input name and basic salary, therefore this needs to be there. And I have taken scanner, therefore scanner SC is also here. Now we continue. Int basic is basic, we need to input close it. Now we because we need to find percentage of different things like DA, HRA, we take it in double values which will have decimals in it. So double is double is will be DA, HRA, PF, then it is gross and net. I will take it as G and N. Yes. G is equal to 0, N is equal to 0, semicolon. Now, this is the whole statement of the double values. This takes down most of the variables. Now, one variable is left. This is basically the tabulation of data over here. Now, one variable is left, which is the string, which is the name. String is name. Now we need to calculate this gross and net value, therefore I have kept the value as 0. We need to initialize a value to it. Now continuing with the sum, we take it as enter the name, enter system dot out dot print and enter data. You may write enter the name and the values, but enter data is also good enough. Now we'll take the name first. Name, yes. Name is equal to essay dot next line parenthesis. Now name is basically not just of one word, therefore next line. Now we continue. Name is taken, basic. Now let's just keep it short. Instead of the whole basics word, we take it as B only. Now that would make it fast. You can do it in exam, it is very helpful. B is equal to sc dot next int parenthesis semicolon. Now this will be name and basic. We have taken those values. I will be rubbing some of this here for continuing the program. We need to find DA 30% of basic. Just calculate over here. DA is equal to now we come to the logical part of this, main logic of this program. Logic contains mathematics over here. Therefore, it is 30% of basic, means 30% of B. We don't don't write the percentage symbol in here. We write 30 by 100. B into 30 by 100 will be 30% of B. B into 30. Now in programming, multiplication is given by the asterisk mark, like in the calculator of computers you see. Now HRA will also be done here. HRA is 12.5% of basic. Similarly, B into 12.5 by 100 means you need to just simplify it into as simple terms as possible and thus just represent it. Now 30 by 100 should not be written like 30 by 100. It should be written by 30 by 100 in this way, not this way. Now whenever this place is full occupied, now we need to find gross salary. I will be rubbing this page. G is equal to, G was basic plus DA plus HRA, which means B plus DA plus HRA, which will be B plus DA plus HRA. Semicolon. The calculation it will do, the control will do for itself. You need not do the calculation, means it will lose marks if you do so. Now gross value is found out, net value needs to be found, G minus PF. First we need to find PF. PF is equal to 10% of basic, means B into 10 by 100. Now N is equal to G minus PF semicolon. Now we have found G, means gross value, and we have found N, means net value. Now we found everything about G and F which was asked. Now we will just represent it by system.out.println. Now I will use SOPLN, s dot o dot pln. Now gross value is equal to, within the inverted comma you need to write is equal to plus G. Now after an inverted comma, if we need to write a variable or any other set of inverted commas, then we need to use the plus statement to separate two things. Now similarly it will be copied, s dot o dot pln net value is equal to plus n. Now we had opened one bracket during the class opening and one bracket during the access specifier opening. Now those were all the brackets we had opened. Now thus we need to give two brackets over here, and this is the end of the program, which will be continued. Then this was the end of today's session. These were the basics of Java programming, I mean the building blocks which will lead to complex Java programmings, making them very easy. Now there would be some further classes of programming of 9 or 10, but there might be some other classes in between them, because it would take us some time, to 4 to 5 classes for programming itself, because I will be explaining the complete book, all the types of programming, nested loop, if conditional statements and for loop and etc. So comment your queries or anything if you have in the comment section, and or you may WhatsApp me at 98749445154, and do like and share the video and subscribe and follow. Thank you.